Welcome to the Billiard Network. You did well in clicking this link. You have just found yourself in the midst of some world-class 9-ball action. So we see Niels Feijen break the balls in our first rack. Beautiful cut break. Hello, that'll work for your opening break. You have just joined us in the midst of a chance to get to the final of the European 9-ball Championships 2022 in Lasko, Slovenia. Well, Niels is wasting no time getting his run out underway after that break. Well, why would you if the path is clear? So this is a race to 9 alternate break. And this is a semi-final, so both players will have already won and secured their bronze medals. But they're hungry for more, and they will have been winning some matches along the way. So both players high in confidence, you would imagine, have probably both had some battles in their previous 9-ball matches, some easier than others. But I expect both players to be well in stroke here. And, well, Niels is showing us how it's done, really. Almost, you could say, a perfect cut break. And we'll talk about the breaks when they come now. We'll fast forward any racking action, as you may be used to from us. So we'll see Jani Uski from Finland breaking the balls. Same side as Niels. He's trying to make the green 6, the pocket nearest us. Maybe the 1 ball in the left side. But trying to draw his cue ball straight to the left from where he's looking, exactly there, and then back out to the center of the table. That is kind of like an ideal cut break, if you break it at that kind of speed as well. He not so lucky, or, well, not as pleased. I'm not saying that it's unlucky or lucky. He made the 1 ball, and that 2 ball is a wild ball racked. Or sometimes it's racked in the bottom of the rack consistently, but that is hard to control. The 1 ball, if you don't make it, will kind of go to that position where the 2 ball finds itself currently. So what to do here, viewers? Think along with me. I mean, you could cut this in. It's a really thin cut. I think I would cushion first, hit it thicker, and trying to find the wall that is the pink and red, like so. Nice. Nice, but left Niels the most logical, natural kick shot. And if you can hit it thick enough, you can actually perhaps guide his cue ball after he hits the right side of the 2 from where we're looking. Could maybe guide his cue ball to bump into the red 3 and then leave his cue ball there, sending the 2 ball towards the 9 ball, 4 ball, somewhere thereabouts. So important for Jani Uski to not go 2-0 behind. And that is a beautiful shot. Niels really, well, you could say an amazing player in all departments. Really a complete player. Very good. Well, in essence, he's a student of the game and remains a student of the game. Has been so for, well, I've known him for about 25 years, and really an amazing breaker in whatever discipline you may put in front of him. Amazing jumper of the white ball, but especially in the last 10-15 years, his kick shots, his safeties, his banks have really become world class. Alright, so Jan missed the 2 ball initially, but kicked it off the bottom rail. Now can Niels kick this in? The 4-9 became a bit of a different proposition, so his cue ball will have to come back there for position on the pink 4. That's about the most challenging thing in this rack, I believe, when the players get past this 2 ball. So wants to keep a nice angle center of table for the 3 to make the cue ball maneuverable towards the 4. But this angle might be a little bit, well, is a little bit steep, but he'll probably be able to add a bit right spin to his cue ball to, after he comes off the top rail, get it as near as possible to the left side pocket. And that will do the trick just fine. So now, of course, first task is make the 4-ball, but his next thing that he will be paying attention to is getting, after making the 5-ball, getting his cue ball center table. That's a workable angle. So stun, so tip below center. Maybe the tiniest bit of right spin. And spin his cue ball off that side rail, back out. But yeah, Niels' positional play really, well, kind of like a work of art, really. Keeping really nice angles, exactly about the right amount of degrees most of the time. I mean, we're all attempting it, but Niels is an executioner of the highest degree, I can tell you. And as many of you will know, and maybe that's why you click this link. So my name is Rico Diks. As we approach game 3, let's look at Niels' cue ball. So you want to draw the cue ball either straight to the left when looking from Niels' position into the rail, or a tiny bit higher towards the side pocket. So that's almost too low, but hello. Made a mere 4 balls off the break. Well, what can we say about this? So we watch Niels do this. I'll tell you a little bit about the path that these players have taken to get to this position. Jani Uski in the first round beat Osman Sanlisoy from Cyprus. And then they came to the winner's qualification already. And Jani Uski beat Francisco Diaz Pizarro, the Spanish veteran and always a dangerous player. Hello, Niels. As I was just thinking this was going to be a straightforward rack. Yeah, so Niels just kind of regretting the path his cue ball took. Now let's see how good he can kick this 6-ball. I think he'll come at it direct off of 1 rail. Sometimes players attempt to come off of 2 rails, because then the making or safety possibility is sometimes higher. Could still do that. It's looking like he's doing it. Okay, so yeah, and these are the kind of mistakes that you really don't want to make at this level. Letting Jani back to the table. You know, what a difference, 2-1 or 3-0. But it is what it is. So Niels Feijen in his qualification to get to the last 64 single elimination stage beat Petri Makonen, one of the top Finnish players as well. And then we got to the last 64 stage. And let me see who beat who here for a second. Alright, so 2-1, and I'll get back to the path the players took to get to this semi-final match in a little bit. Let's watch Jani's cut break. Trying to make the orange 5, maybe leave the yellow 1. Made neither. So this is going to be a dry break. But Niels will be very tempted to kick this 1 ball. Or maybe he won't. Well, pushing out is not easy to do, of course. He might kick it or push it out where the kick is maybe a tad bit easier, but I think the cue ball at the moment, you know, the kick I'm talking about off the left long rail, I don't think the green 6 is in the way of that kick. Because where else are you supposed to push out to? Think along with me here. There is the 7-8. Pretty straight combination that might, you know, sometimes if you can see a cluster on the table and that would suggest there's more to play for than just this one ball. But I think in this case, he who makes the one is a big favorite to run out the game. It's a pretty interesting push out, because normally you wouldn't leave your cue ball so close to the one ball, but this is a pretty interesting position. What would you do here? Huh. And you can bank the one try to bank it underneath the right side of the 5 ball. Try to find cover under the blue red, but Jani's looking at the kick. But the kick is coming in so straight and full on the 1 ball that you wouldn't be able to spin your cue ball back out for position on the 2. So, but that's what he's going for. And he might even hit it so full and scratch, although that wouldn't happen most of the times you'd make it. Ooh, missed the whole ball. Okay, so Niels victorious in this tactical display, you would have to say, if he runs out as well, I guess. So Jani Uski in the last 64 single elimination beat his fellow countryman Jani Sikinen 9-7. Whereas Niels beat Jaroslav Polach, the Slovakian veteran, 9-4. In the last 32, they proceeded Jani Uski to beat Mark Magi from Estonia, 9-6, while Niels Feijen beat Andoni Iker Esquivera from Spain. Niels a bit too much angle on his 2 ball. Should be workable in stun drawing his cue ball just south of the 9 ball and then spinning back out for a straight in 3 ball. Still though, tester. Nicely executed. So in this rack, 7-8 would prove the biggest challenge, but you know, after you make the 4 or 5, the 6 is in such a nice position to drift your cue ball straight to the center of the table for a nice position on the 7-8 combo. So I expect no problem. Still though, the 7 ball will then be hitting the 8, and it's not always 100% predictable where that 7 ball will land exactly. Again, if he keeps his position on that 7-8 combo about where his cue ball is now, maybe a tad bit straighter, then he's able to maneuver his cue ball in a better position for the 7 ball after. Anyway, that's a future prediction. We'll see if that comes true. So in the last 16, Jani Uski beat Orestis Christofidis 9-7. And Niels beat Mario He 9-3. Very good win there for Niels. And that was to get into the quarterfinal. And then in the quarterfinal, Niels proceeded to beat Joshua Filler 9-7, while Jani Uski beat Alen Muratovic from Bosnia-Herzegovina. And that's how they put themselves on a collision course to meet right here with a chance to win European 9-ball championship gold. One of the main objectives of any European player. A really prestigious tournament this, where all the top European players, only Europeans of course, congregate to cross cues and see who's the best in the various disciplines. We play straight pool, 10 ball, 8 ball, 9 ball, and the team event. So this is a 10-day festival of pool. So Niels here pretty straight, so isn't able to roll this combination, so his 7 ball is going to be hit a bit harder. That's why I was saying he would maybe like to keep a bit of an angle with the cue ball to the left of this straight combination. Let's see what his 7 ball does. Nice. Okay, so use that little angle that he had on the 7 to stun the 7 ball knowingly to this corner pocket. Good shot. So Niels kind of back in line with a 2-game lead. Very important. That was my cat Dora. Very important in this alternate breaking scenarios to get yourself a 2-game lead. And then if you were to hold your own breaks, you would win the match. So Niels' cut break has been fantastic in this match so far. Made the corner ball. One ball didn't drop. Pretty long, fairly straight in pot. If his cue ball doesn't drift behind the 7 ball, should have a... Well, we'll have kind of automatic position on the red 3. But if you can imagine your cue ball in the spot where the 1 is, or thereabouts, if you make the 3, you might collide into the 8 ball, which is not handy because after the red, it's the pink 4, as you may very well know. But this is also commentary for the players that are very much learning. Oh no, Niels again, his first shot after the... His first shot of his run out snookers himself. Remember in the last rack where he made 4 balls off the break and then snookered himself on the, was it 2 ball? Now how to kick here. Interesting though. So close to the 6 that maybe the 1 rail kick is not easy to thread his cue ball in between orange and black off the left side rail. So it will probably come 2 rails. So we'll hit about halfway up the top side of the left long rail. A lot of right spin. Is he, or he's actually straightening his cue ball up? Oh no, okay. Oh, that looked too wide to me all the way. Niels is going to be disgusted with himself, I can inform you guys about. Prides himself actually on his studies in kicking, and I don't know, must have had a little bit of a brain fart there, I would suggest, because that's normally one of his strong points. So, after such a nice break and a nice pot on the 1 ball, his cue ball locked behind another ball, and that's what stopped Niels. So Niels stopped himself. I mean, shot himself in the foot, as the saying goes. So for position on the 5, as you can see, 6 ball, south side of the table, so needs a specific, either straight in on the 5 towards any of the corners, or about a 10-20 degree angle. Either way would work, and this will work. You can top spin his cue ball. I think naturally the cue ball will spin straight to the top short rail. Well, coming from that angle, should be able to roll it straight back towards where his cue ball or his hand is now. So a nice little arc on that cue ball, as you may have noticed. And that's just about a workable angle. So semifinals, I would say, in many sports, any kind of games, disciplines, are such important matches, of course, for the players. But the most important match, sometimes you just want to make it to the final and see how you go from there. So both these players trying to achieve that plan of making it to the European 9-ball championship final. Jani left himself, of course, a way too steep an angle on the 7-ball. It's cuttable. Pockets are at least 4¼ inches with a fairly new cloth, so it could be quite acceptable even with the 7-ball coming in at that angle. Bank is on, of course. A bit more of a challenging task. I mean, the cut shot is, if it's theoretically on, it's hard to see from this angle. At least the task is to hit it as thin as you can, because overcutting it would be nigh on impossible. Alright, zigzagging cue ball. Ooh. Well, what a chance to get back to 3-2, and with his break then coming up, as things stand, Niels will have had a sigh of relief. So Niels to take a 4-1 lead. What I can tell you is that the 9-ball discipline at the European Championship 10 days of pool is the last discipline, and some consider it the most important or most prestigious. And so these players will have taken part in 3 tournaments already. So all players will have had a lot of matches, but also a lot of battle scars, perhaps. A lot of run-outs made, but you know, as opposed to that, also quite some pots and opportunities missed. So it's not easy to stay fresh during these 10 days. You're also all situated in the same hotel, so it's kind of, you get that kind of cocoon womb feeling where you're just kind of hotel, playing hall, matches, food, sometimes meet with the rest of your teammates in the evening, but often you have to play again in the morning, either in this tournament or the next tournament coming up. So it's quite the trip, I can assure you. But also one of the tournaments I used to enjoy most, also because you were in that kind of cozy feeling with a lot of friends, new friends from about 25 different countries. So it's a really cool experience. So if you ever have a chance to experience it, then I would suggest you do so. So pretty good jump shot by Mr. Uski. Did he leave a slither of the right side of the one? I mean, even if he did, that's not going to be easy. Interesting here, because you know the jump is no good. 7 is also pretty far away to jump over, to not jump any balls out of the table just because of the sheer jump length you need to get over the 7 ball. But the cut, you can cut it very thin, but your cue ball is going to hit the left side of the pink 4, and then it's going to run into the 3 ball. Very unpredictable. I think maybe the best thing you could achieve here is sticking the 1 ball on the left long rail there, cutting it just to the left of the black. Okay, so Niels actually did that, but opted to shoot it a little bit harder and try to get a bit more separation and potential blockage. Well, he did so. Also notice that 2-4 has now become a bit of a cluster there. So there's more to play for than just this 1 ball and then trying to run out. Attempting to hit the right side of the 1 or either side and get separation or make it, but that wouldn't have been his plan, because he would have visualized that his cue ball would be traveling that direction, and of course the 2 ball hidden behind the pink 4. Not an easy kick here, yeah. Coming from that rail, but then you only have about the left third of the blue ball to hit. Also, you need to apply some left spin, but with your cue ball stuck on the rail, you can only hit about the top 20% of the cue ball. Not easy. Ooh, exactly. 2-9 combo? You would imagine so. Maybe the distance between the 2 balls might defer Niels from attempting that, but with the 9 ball kind of like a millimeter or 2 off the rail, that makes it a big hit point. Anyway, Niels opting against it, just trusting his run-out skills, and believes that that is a higher percentage chance of success. It's the only reason he would be refusing. But you can see in Niels's attempt there on the 2, or in my eyes anyway, pretty quick So you can see that Niels has been playing a lot of matches. Also, remember, he came off that 9-7 win over Joshua Filler, so has reason and has seen himself play various nice run-outs to get to this situation. Kind of trying to keep and using that momentum and confidence that he ought to have built from his previous matches. So the history of Niels Feijen, as described by yours truly, I used to be, well, let's say I used to be a top Dutch pool player before Niels was, and I had different adversaries to deal with, and then came Alex Lely and Niels Feijen into the fold, and myself, I was more a old school kind of pool hall player. Played a lot of team leagues and then regional and national tournaments. But then there was a gentleman called Johan Ruysink who, with a few friends, made the Hague 5 pool school in The Hague, of which Niels and Alex are two graduates. And these guys, they actually practice stuff. So me, I have to admit, I was a player who just would rack the balls, try to break them, and run out in most practice sessions. But the guys at the Hague 5 pool school, they actually practiced breaking, they practiced safeties, they practiced straight in pots for hours and trying to stop your cue ball dead and trying to draw your cue ball back straight. Train their strokes, train their safeties. So I also spent the summer in The Hague once. Beautiful summer that was, with a lot of pool, but also a lot of jet skiing and barbecues and good times, because I figured, if you can't beat these players, you may as well join them. But yeah, so that was a whole new generation where Niels and Alex were actually players that had studied and practiced these things, and to be honest, that kind of found me out really, because during matches sometimes, eventually I would feel, man, these players are better prepared than I was. So my advice to aspiring players is don't just play sets and try to play on your own and just rack them, break them, and try to run out. If not, then try again. Really, you're going to be faced with safeties, kicks, push-outs, breaks, long pots, screwbacks, etc. So, any half an hour or hour practicing the same bit over and over will really give you a lot of knowledge and rehearsal for these kind of moments that you hope to maybe eventually be involved in semifinals of the European 9-Ball Championships 2022 in Lasko, Slovenia. Right, back to the match. Niels, faced with a jump shot, will add, let's say, tip below center to his cue ball to try to stun it to the left side of the table and back across for 2 should he make it. Make it he did. Excellent jump shot player Niels is, not just because he just made that jump shot, but in general. So what to do on this 2 ball? You could hit it about, not straight ahead, but tiny bit to the left from where he's looking, and guide his 2 ball behind the pink 4 and 9 ball. Yeah, that's kind of the highest chance of success. But speed severely lacking. May have actually left him the potting angle as well on the 2. So Niels trudging back to his seat in a fairly disappointing fashion. Did he leave him the potting angle? And if so, the only way... Oh no, okay, so he didn't leave him the potting angle because Jan is looking at snookering Niels straight back, but maybe he's actually attempting to bank the 2 in the top right corner and keep his cue ball position for the 4 ball in the same corner. Yeah, his cue ball might drift. So yeah, good shot though. Good attempt, but also knew that he would or could perhaps get the snooker behind that wall of balls that he created there. Well, here we go. Niels again. Through the skies of Slovenia, trying to make this 2-ball. This time not succeeding. May get the safety second prize. Well, it's a thin cut, but he did leave it. So if you're faced with pots where your object ball is somewhere near any rail, and if your potting angle is this steep, so about, what was it, 80 degrees? 80 degrees to about 45 degrees, your cue ball will always travel straight into the rail it's near and then straight back out. So he may need to add some right spin. Okay, so never even attempted the pot. Went straight for the safety. Alright, so Niels going jump crazy here. Third jump shot in a row. And besides the missed safety attempt by Niels. I think Niels is actually trying to bank the 2-ball to hit it slightly on its right. And exactly, send it in between the 9 and 5. And then his cue ball would be stunned, hopefully behind the green 6, somewhere thereabouts. I mean, such a good cue ball that even the 2-ball hitting the 5-ball didn't even matter. Beautiful, beautiful shot. Don't know if Jan can come off the left long rail. He's looking at it. So he's maybe looking to zigzag it. Ooh, not easy to pass the 8 and still get. Yeah, I mean that was. Don't know if that was actually possible. Should have thought about that a bit more. But as you may have noticed in the semifinals and finals, the shot clock is in force here. No matter what. Normally during matches at the European Championship, they only bring in the shot clock man if you don't achieve a certain amount of racks after like an hour of play. But in the semi-final and final, also because it's kind of like Kozoom filmed material, shot clock's in operation at all times, just to make it a bit more speedy play. So Niels actually playing position on the 4-9. Not easy when they're, this is at least ball and a half distance between the two, so he must be pretty straight to be playing position on this. Boom! Alright, 6-1 to Niels Feijen. Race to 9, remember, for place in the final, the all-important final. Noticeable that the 2 and the 3 are racked below the 1, which means the 2 will probably travel in the same direction as the 1, so could be handy for Jan. That's why often balls are racked with the 2-ball at the lower side of the rack to avoid that happening. So that was quite a kind of nice racking order that the ref gave Jan, I have to say. So here, Jan needs to give us some quality in the next 20 minutes or so. Can't rely on Niels not taking it home, because he will, especially having won a few matches against Mario He, against Joshua Filler already. So 2-ball past the 7. Nice. So this rack looks pretty plain sailing, but famous last words, when it's sometimes so easy looking, at least, often and at some kind of shot you then keep whatever, either too much distance or the wrong angle. quite interesting that in the European Championships in the last 20 years or so, they have kept the races the same length throughout the tournament. At the beginning part of my career, when you got to the last 16 stage, let's say the 9-ball tournament, the races increased to a race to 15, which was really cool. It was like a cool stage to get to. If you were playing 8-ball, it went from a race to 8 to a race to 11. And straight pool even went from race to 125. You played a best of 3 race to 125. How cool is that? So then you'd really find out who the best player on the day is. With these formats, race to 9, of course, still a decent match length. But, sometimes a 15-20 minute burst or even a 10-minute burst may make the difference. All right, so Niels overcutting his cue ball ever so slightly. Still has got a shot on the 2. Cue ball will find it impossible to avoid hitting the pink 4. But you would almost count on the cue ball traveling back up table unless he hits the 4 ball full in the face and loses all speed. Should be able to keep position on the red 3. So 2 ball make. Ooh. So a few. Well, of course, it's hard to play faultless or nigh on impossible to play faultless a race to 9. But if you see the opportunities that Niels has squandered, he himself would tell you that it's pretty disappointing. So, Jani Uski with a chance to win his second rack in a row and come back from 6-1 to 6-3. And that's what his task was after going so far behind, race to 9. Is he able to make this 2 ball? I think so. I think not now. Ooh, that little touch on the pink 4. Did that give Niels a potting view or a view at all? Did the 2 ball stick out far enough? I believe so. Niels taking out his jump cue, so able to make it. But how do you apply so much backspin to jump it over the 9 ball, make the 2, and then make the 2 ball spin back still? I mean, that'd be some proper skills. Could, of course, otherwise bump into the 3 and might be able to bump the 3 out and get a shot somehow or other. Wow! Hello. That was beautiful. Love that shot. One of the shots of the match for sure. Of course, has a nice 6-2 lead to kind of feel comfortable with. Still, though. So as you can see, the referee there raising his hand. So after every shot, the referee will kind of be instructed to raise their hand, meaning the shot clock starts again. So I think it's 30 seconds, you would imagine the shot clock to be. Regular time length. Nielsen ideal line here. Thread his cue ball in between the 8 and 7 ball. Or he's applying draw, so he might shoot the 7 in the other corner. Okay. Alright, so Niels for a 7-2 lead, race to 9. You would think that should be decisive in an alternate break race, but as you can see, if Niels can get ahead 7-2 in an alternate break format, it's definitely feasible that the opponent is able to do the same. Especially if you've both just reached the semifinals and are proven high-class 9-ball players. Alright, on that note, we have a lot of high-class 9-ball, 10-ball, all kinds of disciplines here at the Billiard Network. If you like what you're seeing, could you show your appreciation by pressing the like button? It will really help promote pool in general and also the Billiard Network's efforts. And then you can also, beside watching this match, you can check out the immense video library of the Billiard Network. We have so many matches for you to enjoy, and we wouldn't post any match if it wasn't enjoyable in one way or another. Same with this one. Hope you're enjoying this. Once again, your narrator here. My name's Rico Diks. Dutch-born pool player currently residing in London as we watch Jan taking on this 1-7. Hoping to leave the 1 where the 7 is now. That will do just fine. The rest of this rack, you would imagine he's going to drift his cue ball with a bit of left spin back to the center of table. So he has about a 20-30 degree angle on the 3 ball to make it maneuverable to go back up table for the green 6. So anytime when balls are not lined up, where the position of the current object ball is perfect position for the next object ball, you would more often than not keep about a 20 to 30 degree angle like so. So the pot is still very doable, but your cue ball is also workable to either, to bring it in all directions, all positions on the table. Again, because he needs his cue ball to go to center table, would love to not be straight. And this is a bit closer to the rail than he would have liked. Again, he would have liked about 20 to 30 degree angle. Didn't achieve that, so now he needs to show a little bit more quality. Probably add a bit of right top spin to his cue ball. And come off the middle of the top rail and spin it just north of the right side pocket to hit the second rail, and then he'll be plain sailing from there. But if his cue ball would have been, let's say, 1 or 2 balls width more towards us, he could have just rolled the 6 in and his cue ball would have come straight to the center of table. And that's kind of what you want to do. Try to show as little of your considerable talents as you can with the runouts. But that's a good recovery. So also, sign of a top player is if you get slightly out of line, or like he was, to correct yourself in one shot. Right, so Jani Uski taking it back to 3 racks to 7, race to 9. It is Niels Feijen to break though, in all of the odd games, because Niels won the lag. So Niels' cut break has been exemplary most of the time. So straight to the second diamond on the bottom half of the right rail, or a little bit higher. So that's too low. See, his cue ball cut too low. And there you go. Dry break. Is that 1 ball on? Alright, as we await what Jan can see on that 1 ball. Let us know in the comments any comments you have about this video, any questions you may have, any players that you would like to see featured. Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd also love to hear where you're watching this from what coordinates in this on this beautiful planet are you watching the Billiard Network video of this European Championship 9-ball semi-final. We'd also like to know what situation you're watching this from. Are you watching this from your bed? Are you actually supposed to be at work and can't get a thing done because you found this link and would rather be watching this than get some work done? We'd love to know your situation. We appreciate your viewership, and we're looking forward to bringing you a lot more world-class pool action, and we're looking forward to you joining us more often. You can also subscribe to the Billiard Network, and then you'd be notified when we post new videos. Pretty handy, I can tell you. So in this rack, does the 7 pass the 9? I think it does, or at least partially. May not have a full pocket. So from the 5 to the 6, it's not an ideal angle he has on the 4. Yeah, because now he might have to stop his cue ball on the 4 and then leave a straight in 5. So he could draw it straight back for the 6 ball in the left side pocket, which is, you know, more skill required than he would have liked to display in this rack. So needs a good amount of backspin. And the backspin will take his cue ball path kind of towards the pockets nearest to us, and then wants to stop it in the line where the cue ball is right about now, really. It's good, slightly underdrawn. And this, you know, in order to make the 6, you're only hitting the 6 ball about quarter ball, and the 6 needs a certain speed to get to the pocket, so that means your cue ball retains about 75% of the speed, and that would make his cue ball run a bit wild. Can he control a loose cue ball? Oh, here we go. Alternative route. Is he gonna cannon the 7-9 combo? Is he gonna make it a combination? 7 ball on the 9, that's what he's looking at. Advantage of that is that he can thread it, zigzag his cue ball below the black 8 as a potential safety. I think he's just asked for the extension. So both players allowed a 30-second extension in each rack to have a bit more thinking time or preparation time for a certain shot. Nice. And what an important rack this was to keep himself in the hunt. Remember, he was 6-1 down, 7-2, and now it's a mere 7-4 score. So Jani Uski on the hunt for Niels Feijen's apparent path to the 9-ball final. Just about good enough cut, but didn't make the corner ball, I believe. Look at the cue ball. Scratchy, scratchy. All right. You know, any pool player would automatically look, are there any clusters, any problems, or is this a straightforward open rack? So here, yeah, the 2 to the 3 needs attention, the 3 to the 4 needs attention. After that, you know, it's definitely not straightforward, but it's all in the open. So could leave himself pretty straight on the 2 ball and screw his cue ball back for the red 3. Either in the corner or in the left side pocket. Could leave his cue ball just west of the red 3 for position on the 2, and that would give him, let's say, 40-degree angle to work his cue ball in such a way. Well, he won't be doing that, I can tell you, actually. Yeah, so wants to screw his cue ball just back to clear the black 8. I think, yeah, kind of keep position, because it's kind of connected dots. If he would stop his cue ball, he would have a shot at the 3 in the top left corner. But of course doesn't want to be stuck on the rail and wants to be a bit closer to his work. And maybe have a 10-degree angle to the right of straight. Ooh, that will just about do. Niels is a very good cue ball artist, a very good straight pool player as well, so knows all about those little kind of spins of cue balls, can really maneuver his cue ball at close quarters. Has a very good knowledge of exactly how many rotations, let's say, or exact rotations his cue ball needs, and that was apparent there. So wants to stun his cue ball. What about cue ball's width to the right of where the 3 ball is now, and that would give him a shot. So this is one of the angles where your cue ball goes straight into the rail you're nearest to. And if it goes straight into the rail, of course, it comes out straight. And that will do the trick. So just wants to past the left side of the 9 ball towards the center of table. And has to come up to at least, let's say, center table for a nice shot on the orange 5. Ooh. That speed on the cue ball made the cue ball not come up straight, but kind of then it arcs. The cue ball's kind of hit at such a speed that it's kind of lost in warpedness, let's say, temporarily. Wow. A lot more of a test. So Niels needs this 5 ball and his cue ball to stun to the center of table to stop Jani Uski from making that comeback. Wow. So Niels with at least like 3-4 open chances where it's all been self-created trouble. It's not like Jan has been snookering him or putting him in all kinds of troubled positions. It's really self-inflicted pain for Niels Feijen. So does this 5 ball, I think it just about goes, but with the 5 ball so deep in the pocket, you're bound to hit the left knuckle of that corner pocket, I think, and then it's hard to predict where your cue ball goes exactly. Is applying left spin. Okay, so hit it rail first. That's a pretty good shot if he can avoid the in-off, meaning if he makes the 6 ball in the top left corner pocket, his cue ball looks very close to scratching in the top right. If you can avoid that, if you can hit the short rail first, then it's a natural path back to where his cue ball is now for the position on the 7. You may have noticed me speaking a little bit faster than usual. That's because my excitement levels are going up a little bit, with Niels failing to kind of extend his lead, and Jan making some good shots, among which this one. Wow, beautiful shot. Had to play it with bottom left, kind of like check side stun. Now, in great line to take himself back to a mere 2-game deficit. Race to 9, remember, for a place in the final. Jani Uski about to take us back to a 7-5 scoreline in favor of Niels the Terminator Feijen. All to play for, I'd say, because it's Niels' break. That is the only saving grace for Niels at this very moment. Right. Game 13. So Niels has been overcutting the 1 ball, so his cue ball has been coming below the middle diamond of that bottom right side rail. Wants to hit straight into that rail or a tiny bit up towards the right side pocket. Again, ever so slightly too low. See, and then your cue ball drifts towards that racking area or lower. If his cue ball had been punched back out to the center of table, he would have been a happy chappy. As things stand, what do you do here? Kick is hard, as in you will definitely hit the kick off of 2 rails, or 1. It's hard to find cover though, even though there are quite a few balls on the table to achieve that with. So you'd almost think that Niels is not going to push out and give the option to Jan to kind of say, well, are you going to shoot what I'm giving you, or are you going to let me do it? Are you going to leave the jump shot? If he leaves the cue ball where he's pointing now. Wow, so pretty challenging push-out position Niels is trying to achieve here. Pushing out to the jump with not an automatic position on the red 3, which because of that is maybe a pretty good push-out position. At least the angle is such on this jump shot pot. You can stun your cue ball directly to the right of where the 2 ball is now and back out. Jan not liking it enough. Must have definitely been tempted to shoot this, but must have eventually come to the conclusion. Okay, so Niels is not jumping this, but kicking it. Interesting. Trying to find cover. Whew. I mean, that is hit just about good enough. Well, but he hit it in the realm of good possibilities. And I would have to say, again, from the push-out situation, the second time that Niels has been tactically victorious. So this kick, a certain hit, could stop his cue ball behind the pink 4. But if he hits it that way, the 2 ball would be looking likely to hit the red 3. Okay, so open shot for Niels, albeit about a third of a ball cut, and a long one at that. And has to kind of slow roll it and come 2 rails out for the 3 in the right side pocket. So a bit of a touchy-feely shot. This not anyone's favorite, really. Well played. So will Niels be able to take himself to an 8-5 lead? Or will he inflict more trouble on himself and make Jan's comeback continue? You would imagine the first suggestion would come true. Bit straight on the 4 ball. Again, makes his cue ball directly less maneuverable in fewer angles than if he were to have kept a 20 to 30 degree angle. Might screw his cue ball straight back and out to the center of table. Zip, as so. Too much angle though now. Wanted this cue ball to roll about 2 to 3 balls lengths more to the left of where he is now. But this should be pretty natural still, coming out in between the 8 and 9 ball. Alright, so back in line as the referee raises his hand to restart the shot clock. Nice stun by Niels. Perfect angle. Wants to achieve somewhat the same path, but now with a topspin cue ball and leave his cue ball more near the. Ooh, almost overcut that one. Woo. Yeah, such an important match in this tournament. Maybe, you know, the most nervy match you can face, the semi-final. Trying to make it to that grand 9-ball final. Once a year only is this tournament being played. Niels takes an 8-5 lead. As you can see, a little pump of this fist holding the cue there. Glad with that result. Now, both players have been overcutting the 1 ball. Needs a bit of a thicker hit to make the red 3 in this bottom right corner pocket. First task. There it goes. Ooh, see if that 1 ball would have hung or anywhere near that pocket it was rolling towards. Oh, and as things stand, it's an illegal break. All right, quick explanation of that. There's a 3-point rule in effect that you need to achieve on the break. You can achieve this 1 point for every ball made on the break, 1 point for every ball that passes the line from which you're breaking. Jan made 2 balls, but no other ball past that breaking line. Incredible. Wow, so Niels looking to take this home after an illegal break, but this... Does this 4-ball pass the 8? Ooh, body position from Niels suggests not. I mean, I would suggest he was down quite quickly on that 2-ball. You know, in this situation of the match, of course he's got a 3-game lead, but he will feel the nerves. Wow, what to do? You know, you're gonna snooker him behind the 8. Yeah, maybe put the 4-ball softly on that right side rail. No. Oh, cut it in. Oh, made the thin cut, but of course a wild cue ball, hard to control, especially when careering into another ball. I mean, that makes the cue ball so much harder to control, or nigh on impossible to say where it's going to end up. Wow. So here the kick. I mean, maybe he wants to hit the left side of the orange and try to sneak his cue ball behind the brown-green area. Pooh, a soft manner. Oh, missed the whole ball. Yeah, Niels would be disgusted with himself. Ball in hand for Jan. To stave off, Niels just taken 9-5 victory. Of course, it's Niels' break after this, remember. Also, if we go to a final rack deciding game, it will be Niels Feijen to break, as he won the lag. You know, in my opinion, I think the lag is offers maybe a bit too much advantage should it go to a final rack decider. I believe the lag should determine who breaks first. Fair enough. But I think when it gets to a final rack decider, maybe lag again. That would maybe also give it a bit more excitement. Alright, these 2 balls with his cue ball in a nice position for Mr. Uski to still be in the hunt for a place in the final of the European 9-ball Championships 2022 in Lasko, Slovenia. This is the first European Championships after the little thing called the global pandemic occurred, where no tournaments were possible, or nigh on no tournaments. Right, Niels, don't undercut that cue ball. Oh, just about. He's got a cut shot on the blue too, since he made the corner ball and the 1-ball in the side. The only good thing is that his cue ball will roll again straight into the rail and straight out to where it is now. And further than that, so that's towards the red 3. But, you know, definitely not a promise of position on the 3-ball. Therefore, may actually play safe. What would you do, viewers, in this situation? If you were yourself in a semi-final of a European Championship? Okay, so he's not hitting the cutting angle. So he's looking to play safe. Pretty good shot. Would have liked his cue ball close to the 9 or 4-ball to make it unjumpable. Jan looking if he can kick the cue ball where he's looking now. That would be pretty handy. Or else he could always jump it and kind of hit the left side of the 2-ball and get cover. Quite a few balls on the table that could wreak havoc, as you can imagine, hopefully. Jan looking to kick this. And looking to kick the 2-ball, hitting the south side of it, let's say, our side. So that the 2 ball rolls towards the top side of the table and the cue ball remains here. Might even slow kick it. I think medium hit. Did he attempt that make in the side? Or was he actually attempting a bit of a thinner hit? Either way. Getting exciting here. I mean, will it be 7-8 only? And a mere maximum 2 games to play? Or is Niels going to take this 9-6? This cut. Cue ball back to the center of the table. Overcut it. But didn't leave Niels a pot. And he's bridging over the 6. Again, I ask you, viewers, what would you do here? You have to snooker the white ball behind the brown 7. Will expose your 3 ball somewhere near the left side pocket. That's no good. You can bank the 3 past the black 8 into the pocket, but then your cue ball will still remain on the right side of the table, and that's no good for position on the pink 4. You know, bringing your cue ball back down here, cutting the 3 on the left side, will expose the 3 to the right side or the corner pocket. That's a pretty good shot. Why? Because it was pretty riskless. And B, because there were quite a few sides on that right side of the 3 ball he hit there, where he could have gotten this result. So, jump cue coming out, but what is he attempting here? Don't think he's attempting the bank. I think he's looking to hit the left side of the 3 and guide his cue ball to try to find cover. I mean, that's a good shot. That is a good shot. Now Niels can play a kick and stick, I believe. Kicking the cue ball just to the right of the brown 7 into that top rail with a lot of left spin. And trying to hit the 3 ball full in the face would make his cue ball stop if he hit it at a pretty firm speed. Oh, beautiful. Don't hit the knuckle. Oh, disappointment. Yeah. I mean, of course, there was a small chance of hitting that knuckle, but you did attempt, or one would have attempted to send the 3 ball in that very direction that he sent it in, so you kind of have to, you know, accept and take responsibility for all things, really. Alright. Jan with a chance. Alright, too much angle kept on this 4 ball though. We'll brush the 9 and we'll hope that his cue ball will brush the 9 and then still end up on the right side of this orange 5 ball. I think it will. Oh no, never hit. He made the 4 balls so far in the left side of the pocket that he basically hit it as straight as he possibly could. That's why his cue ball didn't brush the 9. And this is not what he imagined. Ooh, so nerves, you know, nerves playing with the stroke, playing with the minds of players, sometimes with their decisions on what shots to take, but in this case, you know, just your finesse of how you're hitting that object ball is in jeopardy with these types of nerves going on. Although both players still looking pretty good, I have to say. No jerky technique, no jerky strokes, etc. But this is for place in the final, so you could say about the most important match in this tournament, or any tournament, you know, semifinals. Cue ball behind the 6-8. Ooh, don't go in between those though. That should work. If he makes the jump shot though, big chance for position on the 6 as well. Okay, here we go. Most important shot of the match so far. Also because it's the current shot in the match. But will he leave a winning chance for Niels, or will he go on and continue his comeback? Oh, didn't clear the first hurdle. Niels with 5 balls for a chance to win this match and get himself into the European 9-ball championship final. I mean, it's looking pretty open, but this match has also shown that from positions where there was no problems on the horizon, Niels created a few problems for himself. So top spin cue ball back through the center of table, or left side center of table, to give himself about a 10-20 degree pot on the brown 7. That looks good, just don't end up straight. Perfect. Now could leave himself straight on the black 8 and then screw his cue ball back for the 9-ball in the left side. Could also leave a bit more angle and try to play the 9-ball in the same pocket the 8 will be shot in. I would screw it back. You know, kind of the 8 represents position on the 9, kind of, if you screw it back somewhat. So that's almost like a golden rule in my book. If you have position on the ball by stopping where your object ball is now, then you need a very good reason to forego on that free position and try to create it by traveling your cue ball further out of that region and trying to get in a better position somewhere else. So remember that. You heard it here first. So I think Niels is following his cue ball and shooting the 9 in the top right corner pocket. So minimal movement. Would have always had a shot on the 9 somewhere. And this is pretty straight. So this 9-ball top right corner pocket for Niels Feijen to move forward into the European Championship 9-ball final. Just. Alright, Niels takes it. Thanks for watching this pretty exciting match. My name is Rico for the Billiard Network. Go check out some of our other videos.